Everyone to Duke City Dog Talk. This is Jeff from Boofy's Best for Pets. Also with me today, Lisa from Boofy's Best for Pets,
Woof.
and also Stephanie Barger from Canine Zen. Hi, everyone. Woof.
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 So, Stephanie, you're a very special guest with us today. You're going to tell us all about various training issues with reactive dogs and separation anxiety and things like that. One question I have right off the bat is you spell canine with a C. How did that happen?
Well, I spell it like the word canine, C-A-N-I-N-E.
So easy to find, caninezen.com. How long have you been doing dog training?
I have been doing dog training since 2011 in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I have been doing reactivity and behavior modification for probably about the last 5 years.
Aha. Sounds like around COVID time frame, huh?
That's when I kind of transitioned and went into a niche instead of doing general training, or I started off doing service dog training.
Uh-huh. You started doing service dog training, but
Mhm.
now you do mostly reactive.
Yes.
What did the service dog training consist of? Were you working with an organization
I
or
was.
individually?
I got in on the ground floor with an organization that started off in 2010 and worked with them until 2019.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then COVID changed the world.
I went on my own in the end of 2019, and less than 6 months later, we were in lockdown. So
Fun times.
Yeah, we had some familiar stories ourselves. The fun times of lockdowns. Well, now it's all everything's all better. We're all out and about, except for you. You're not always out and about when you're doing your dog training activities.
No, I primarily work virtually with my clients because I work primarily with fearful and anxious dogs
Mhm.
or separation anxiety cases,
Mhm.
all of which benefit from a stranger not coming into the home and having the dog try and get used to them before they have to learn new things. So it's very beneficial. It also allows me to touch my clients throughout the week. Because I can work with them through spreadsheets and that kind of thing and video reviews. So they get a lot of contact.
They do homework.
They do homework.
Wow.
Yes.
I guess that's kind of important though when you're training dogs in any case is repetition and consistency.
Yes.
Those are two very important things, and also random chaos.
Yes. Yes.
Well, sometimes actually the random chaos can be helpful too. So like if you're training for noise, anxiety or fearfulness, do you do things like that?
Yeah. Once we get things in place, we start using them practically so that random chaos that is in our world, the dogs can deal with better.
Uh-huh.
Generally speaking, though, that's not where you want to start. You want to train for the situation, not in the situation. So, you don't go and have your sound sensitive dog do stuff when the loud trucks are driving by.
Right. Or wait until the thunderstorm.
Right.
Right.
Or the balloons are going overhead.
Yes.
Tis the season.
It's not so much the balloons, it's the burners.
Oh, yes. It sounds like Darth Vader going over.
Mhm.
Sometimes it actually is Darth Vader going over, but it definitely sounds like Darth
usually
Vader.
on May the 4th is when
May
that
the 4th
happens.
be with you. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We have an endless stream of geek jokes. So glad you can keep up with that.
Good.
That's always good. So let's take you back, way back on the Wayback Machine. No one on the radio saw me just do that with my fingers, but your first experience with a
Ooh,
dog.
magic.
Thank you, Jerry. Like, what do you remember going way back to your childhood?
Oh, well, I don't necessarily remember this, but my mother got a dog when she was pregnant with me. So I grew up with dogs, and we had a wonderful dog for the first 13 years of my life that was extremely tolerant, and I was very lucky. I would grab tufts of this dog's hair and pull myself up to stand to start walking. Please don't let your children do that to your dog.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Right.
But we were very lucky. He was a very tolerant dog.
What kind was he?
It was a pound puppy.
The best kind.
Yes. We think he was collie, shepherd, and retriever. But at that point, genetic testing wasn't a thing. So who knows?
What was his name?
Michael.
Michael. That's good. I love when pets have human names. Yeah, those are the most fun, especially when you have, coffee with them in the morning.
There you
and-
go.
Yeah.
Or you just start talking
you
about
can-
Michael and everybody's like, who, kisses from Michael, everything. Like, what are you doing? Who is this new person in your life?
Well, you don't feel like you're talking to the dog, right?
Mhm,
You say, "Hey,
mhm.
Michael, how you doing today?"
Right,
You
right.
feel like you're talking to another person.
And
Mhm.
people never have to know when you're texting with them
There you go.
who it is.
I don't text my dog, but
13 years. That's a good run. That was a
Yeah.
good age back then for a dog of that size.
Yes.
And taught you everything about how to enjoy the companionship of a dog.
to enjoy the companionship of the dog, but because he was so tolerant, he did not teach me very much about how to understand dogs.
Right.
When did you first get interested in training?
Well, in my early 20s, I played around with it. I thought that I might be a dog trainer at that point, and then life happened, and
As
I
it does.
went another route. And so I didn't circle back until 2011. So
Did you have a dog around that time that was super easy to train?
I actually had a dog that, in retrospect, had separation anxiety. And we did some training with him, and that's how I got into the idea of possibly doing dog training, because I was training him not for separation anxiety, just general basic manners training, and just didn't follow through with it at that point. And then 20 years later, here I am, 30 years later.
So we've known a lot of dog trainers over the years, and it seems like many of them get into it when they either have one of two kinds of dogs. They either have a super easy dog and they train their dog and they think, oh, this is great, I'm really good at this, and then they meet some not easy dogs and find out that it can be really challenging. And then the other type are the ones who start out with the super challenging dog and get it to do just one thing.
And they're so happy. Yes, they're so happy. I actually got into it because I trained my own service dog. And so I worked with some trainers to do that. And she was a dream, but had issues. She was a shelter dog, and I got her when she was about 3. And she was amazing. Turned out to be a tremendous service dog, but she had some reactivity when I first got her. So we worked on that.
Did she have special skills as a service dog? Because you have some that are like general purpose, and then some that like do very specific things, like open the refrigerator and
Get you a bottle of water.
Yep. Bring a beer.
She was trained for my needs, so mobility and medical alert. So she could help me get up. I'm a fall risk, less so now because I've had some improvements, but I was a fall risk. So she would keep people from going, oh my goodness, here, let me whip you up off the ground, even though we don't know whether or not you've injured yourself.
Right. As people do.
Yes. Yes.
Being helpful.
But because I trained her with the help of a trainer for my needs, it was specific to what I needed her to do.
That sounds great. I have I have an Australian Shepherd, maybe Border Collie. She's black and white, so everyone thinks Border Collie. And I have taught her I haven't really taught her anything, but she knows a couple little things, but training's kind of challenging.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yes, it can be. And one of the things that's great is finding things that both you and your dog enjoy doing. A lot of people think that you need to teach your dog how to do X, Y, and Z. I have a different approach. I want to make sure that your dog can live comfortably and harmoniously in your home. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to sit at every corner. As a matter of fact, in this heat, sometimes asking them to sit on the corners isn't very nice.
It's a little rude.
Hot seat. That's
definitely rude.
Yeah, that's a whole new meaning to the hot seat.
Yeah, you just don't want them running out into the street, right? So a wait or a stop or a stay works just as fine. So figuring out what you need in your household, and then teaching your dog what you would like them to do so that they can live harmoniously with you.
My dog is so friendly. She loves meeting everyone, all people and all dogs, more than she loves watching both ways before crossing the street or the health of my arm as I'm trying to hold her on the
Yes.
leash.
Yes.
She's kind
Keeping
of an
that shoulder in the socket is
Yes.
always important.
She's an odd social butterfly. She loves to meet people and meet dogs. And once she's met them, it's time to move on and let's go. Let's
Bark,
go.
bark, bark, bark. Let's go now. We're done here.
We're done.
We're done here.
I've smelled the smells. Let's move on.
Yep.
Next.
So I like meeting everyone with her, but sometimes she's just a little over anxious and even kind of abrasive about it. Like if she's barking at other dogs, they're not going to be all that interested in coming up and meeting right away.
Right. Right.
Uh-huh.
So I would be working on having her learn how to do more calm greetings
Mhm.
if you want to have her greet.
Mhm.
Also, letting her greet everybody has
Mhm.
taught her that she has the right to greet everybody.
Right.
And so if
Mhm.
you start pulling back and saying, no, we're going to cross the street and I want you to pay attention to me,
Mhm.
and then maybe you get to greet the next one.
Mhm.
But you're right. The barking,
Mm.
the pulling towards the other dogs, that
Mhm.
can be very disconcerting, not only to the other dog, but also their guardians,
The people
because
tend to get a
you
little
don't-
nervous.
yeah, they don't know what your dog is going to do.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. Mhm.
So,
Wow, interesting. So another thing another thing I need to work on with her. What is the other thing I needed to work on with her?
Her general neediness.
Oh, yes.
She just kind of whines a little bit. She has commentary for everything. And it's not really clear what she needs or what she wants because she's not necessarily lacking anything obvious, but she seems to think that she is. And we're not really sure what she's trying to communicate about that. It's just kind of this general sort of low key little whininess.
And I keep
going
saying,
on.
come on, Willa, use your words. Use your words. It's not working.
you need to
It's not
get some of
working.
those buttons.
Oh,
Teach her
he's-
how to
Right,
use
yes.
the buttons.
He
I
wants
love
the
that. I
buttons.
love that. Well, you know what? We're going to go to a break and then we're probably going to come back and talk about
Probably.
buttons and stuff like that. But it's 96.3 News Radio KKOB. This is Duke City Dog Talk. We'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back, everyone, to Duke City Dog Talk here on 96.3 News Radio KKOB. We're always here to take your calls or text messages, or most importantly, your pictures of your dogs at 505-243-3333. And we're here today with Stephanie Barker from Canine Zen, talking to us about all sorts of different kind of dog training issues, reactivity, and anxiety at home.
And we were
And
talking specifically
off-
about
Yes, a whiny
a
dog.
little whiny dog named Willa. Willa.
Willa the whiny dog. Yes. So she is an Australian Shepherd, a herding dog. She's smart. She's bored, and we were talking about different kinds of enrichment activities, which we love. Enrichment
Yes.
activities for dogs. And so scent games. What sort of scent games do you do with dogs? Like scent training and
Yes. There's all
teaching
sorts
them
of,
to sniff out the truth?
well, you can,
Uh-huh,
yes.
Okay.
But mainly the one that I use is kind of the shell game for the way you start your dog doing the sport canine nose work. I am not a certified canine nose work worker, so trainer. So we call it the box game because that's how my clients remember it. Because we use cardboard boxes and we hide treats in them, and the dogs get to find them using their nose. And that can be really fulfilling, but you don't need to do anything that complicated. You can just take an old towel and put some kibble in it and roll it up and let them dig it out that way. They have on the market things called snuffle mats.
Oh, we
some
love
are
snuffle
very
mats.
simple and some are very complicated.
Uh-huh.
So that's a really easy way to help them with scent games. Puzzle games are great. Those food puzzle games with your gal, she's
Right.
probably going to figure it out in 5 minutes, and you're going to have a
I'm
closet
going to have
full
a
of different
closet full of
ones
them.
to rotate out.
Uh-huh,
So that's why I kind of like the DIY stuff that's out there. And frankly, all you need to do is Google DIY enrichment games.
So the food mats and the scent games are food mats are kind of scent games too. 'Cause
yes,
the food has aroma. So
Yes.
most of the scent sort of training that we could do, the best thing is to have a food, because then once she finds what she's looking for, she also gets the reward of eating it.
Yes, exactly. Unless you want to go into doing more like detection work, okay, and then you're going to move away from food and you're going to start, using whatever sense you want your dog to detect, and whether that's in the sport or, some people train their dogs so that they can help in these emergency situations. That would be looking for different kinds of scents as well. And so, but a lot of the easy stuff, you start off with food, that you teach the dog the concept, hey, I want you to find this. And then you go on to the more advanced stuff. And so working with behavior modification, a lot of behavior problems are because the dogs are not getting their needs met in some way, shape, or form. And so finding species specific activities that they can do. Dogs in particular, they love using their nose. They love to dig. Okay. So if your dog is a digger, give them a place to dig. Don't argue with them.
We have a caller.
Oh my gosh, we have a caller.
Irene, go ahead.
Oh, hello. I've got the 3 German Shepherds, the mom, the dad, and the baby. The baby was a year old in April. And she has torn apart a golf cart, and now she has started on my car.
She's taken apart your car?
The wires. Now she has taken out wires that are attached to a hitch.
On the backside. So when it's parked, she's getting into the trailer hitch assembly.
Yes, and now the golf cart that she took everything apart, the lights, everything, every wire. And now she worked on the seat. She took the cushions out. She tore them apart. And now she took the wood off, and now she's working on the batteries, which is very dangerous.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I don't know how to teach her not to.
Yes, apart from sending the
she's
dog
got-
to electrician school, we need to find something a little more positively directed.
The first thing that I would do is restrict her access. Get her so that she does not have access to that. Okay, because if you are not monitoring her 100% of the time, and she has access to it, she's going to go ahead and do what she's been doing. She's been practicing this behavior. She'll keep doing it.
So it's kind of a learned or a habitual behavior at this point.
And it could have started off very easy, particularly with the golf cart. Maybe there was a mouse in there and she started going after the
Yes.
mouse, right? And so, and then she just started tearing up the golf cart that way. And now it's become a habit. So
Yes,
go
she
ahead.
took all the wood out of the majority of the wood out of the woodshed and brought it to my doorstep.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a dog in need
She's
of a
helpful.
job.
She's being helpful.
Yes,
she needs you to put wood
she
in
does.
the fireplace.
There you go. Stay warm. You are also dealing with an adolescent at this point.
At 1 year.
At 1 year. So, and you'll be dealing with an adolescent for at least the next year or so. So you want to be thinking teenager. She's going to have all of the self-control of a human teenager, which is not
At
much.
all.
Oh dear.
And she's going to really have trouble when she gets overstimulated making the right choices.
Okay, that's a we have a lot of problems. Thank you for your call, Irene. We have a lot of problems with dogs that once they start with some sort of a negative pattern, they continue to repeat it, and then getting them to figuring out ways to stop that behavior is kind of tough. And restricting access is always helpful. Like we'll have customers come in and ask about like stool eating, and but they let their dog go out into the backyard, use the backyard, and then go back out in the backyard without having picked things up.
Right.
So you still need to find ways to restrict that behavior.
The other thing that happens with backyards too is the sprinkler systems. That's a
Mhm.
very popular one.
Yes.
Dogs are outside, but they find things and they start digging them up, and people get very frustrated, understandably. But
Yes.
it's in their environment.
Right.
So
And that's why management is such a key component of behavior modification. If you don't manage this situation so that you are preventing the dog from being able to practice the behavior you don't want them to do, it becomes a habit. And the longer they are able to do that, the longer it takes to undo it. So you have to have that management thing in place and then teach your dog other things to do. So for example, if they're digging up the sprinkler system, you make sure that you're out there with them all of the time so they can't dig up the sprinkler system. And maybe you go to a store and get a kiddie pool and fill it up with dirt and put some things underneath the dirt. And then if they start digging
That's a
in
treasure
your
chest.
yard, you direct them over. No, this is your digging spot. Or
Mhm.
I've had some clients use railroad ties and just section off a part of their backyard.
Right.
And that's
This
where the
is
dog
your-
is allowed
This is
to
your
dig.
play spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I can dig it.
and that's a
Yeah.
form of enrichment because that's a
Absolutely.
species specific
Absolutely.
behavior is that
Mhm.
digging.
So here's a question. How do you train your dog to differentiate between, maybe the sandbox or the dirt box with all the toys versus all the other stuff? I mean, it's a little bit of a subtlety involved in knowing which of the digging areas is correct.
Yes. And that's about monitoring them so they don't go out by themselves, so that when they make an error and they start digging in an area that is not their dig spot, you can get their attention, get them over to their dig spot and encourage them to dig there.
We were recently at Super Zoo, which is it's a very big trade show in the pet industry here. We were in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and one of the products that we saw there, someone was they were a vendor for large decorative rugs that look nice, but they're meant to be a gigantic pee pad. My thought on that one was, again, how do you teach the dog to know that that's the place in the house to go versus every other rug that's
Rug
in the
here,
house?
rug there.
Yes.
I see rugs everywhere.
I just
Yes.
saw that
Yes.
problem, way down the road. But
Well, and interesting that you say that because I had a friend of mine who got a puppy, and this puppy was really good with their potty training. And then she noticed that one of the dog beds, the puppy, if it had an accident in the house, that is where she would go.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
And it's because the texture we figured it out. The texture of that particular bed was very close to the texture of where she went outside. And so nobody noticed that she needed to go to the bathroom outside. Well, this was obviously the
Close
grassy
enough.
area in the
Right.
house that
Mhm.
was allowed. So so it took a little time to convince her that no, that was not what that was for.
Uh-huh.
But part of it is, using a particular location. Once there's a particular scent on it, then, you can, will tend to use it again.
Mhm.
Cleaning up messes where they're not supposed to be properly, using enzymatic cleaners
Right. Mhm.
is very important for that. But then what happens
So the
if you
enzymatic
rearrange?
cleaners, for people that aren't super familiar with them, you can use like chemical soapy sort of cleaners, and they'll clean the surface. But the enzymatic cleaners, if you wipe everything and then or soak up everything with towels, get it all up, and then you cover it with the enzymatic cleaner, the enzymes in there will continue doing their job cleaning for a little while.
They're going to break
Right.
down the organic compounds that your
Yes.
dog is going to be able to smell, and you're probably going to be able to smell too, but not as potently as your dog does.
Right.
And
And
that
even
always
if you-
draws them back.
Yeah.
Always.
And even if there are some times where you can't smell it anymore, but it's still there and they can smell it. And that's why you
Mhm.
have dogs repeatedly going to the bathroom in the same spots.
Right. So we're going to go to a break right now.
But
and
before we do,
Oh.
Irene with the
Oh,
needs,
yes.
dog help. She's in the East Mountains. She desperately needs your phone number, Stephanie. How do we reach you to get help?
Absolutely. You can go ahead and go to the website, caninezen.com, and it's spelled out CANINE.com, ZEN.com, sorry. And you can set up a free discovery call with me, Irene. You just go ahead and fill out a little bit of information, schedule that call, and then I will call you and we'll talk for about 20 or 30 minutes about your situation. Okay.
So caninezen.com, and Stephanie is going to help solve your problems. That'll be great. Well, we're going to go to a break, and we'll be back right after these messages.
There was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dog chip!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Las Vegas to Los Angeles. This is 96.3 News Radio, KKOV.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Duke City Dog Talk. I'm your host. I'm Jeff from Boofy's Best for Pets. I'm here with Lisa from Boofy's Best for Pets.
Hello.
And then also Stephanie from K9 Zen.
Hi.
So I'm glad that Irene called because she's going to need to try to get a hold of you with your webpage, get set up for a consult, and then perhaps go forward with training. So we should try to understand a little bit of that process. But first, the very first thing that people need to do is to figure out, how do they select a trainer? There's a lot of trainers, and some of them are better than others. Some of them are, positive, and some of them maybe not so positive.
We
Yes.
prefer positive,
Yes.
Mhm.
very much so.
Yes. Well, dog training is an unregulated industry.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of a little bit of buyer beware. So you need to do your research. You want to make sure that people have certifications that that you can then investigate and to figure out what exactly does this mean. I have several certifications based on the work that I do. Not only do I have a certification as a professional dog trainer, but as a behavior consultant and a separation anxiety trainer. And I'm also fear-free certified. So that gives you an idea of how I approach dog training and my philosophy towards dog training. And so when you're looking at people's certifications, that can give you an idea of what their approach might be.
Can you explain the difference between positive and negative training or aversive style training? Some people
Yes.
don't understand the difference, and it's very important.
Yes. So positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative reinforcement, negative punishment. These are all scientific terms. Positive reinforcement basically means that you are using things that the dog likes to reinforce the behavior that you want. Okay. I like to explain it to my clients that I do not use anything that causes fear or pain in the dogs that I am working with, or the humans, by the way, because they're part of the equation. So
A big part of the
they
equation.
are a huge part of the
Mhm.
equation. And aversives are things like there are some things that are more aversive than others. So a shock collar would be considered aversive. Prong collars would be considered aversive. Even a leash pop. For some dogs, just saying sharply is
Right.
aversive because that is scary for them. It causes fear.
Uh-huh.
So for me, it is all about what there are some things that are just plain aversive. If you are going to shock your dog, then you are giving them a negative experience.
Right.
Okay. But saying no to your dog isn't necessarily a negative experience unless for that animal, it's scary.
Right.
Some dogs get their
Hmm.
feelings hurt. They're
Yes.
they're very, very sensitive.
Yes,
You know.
exactly. And they are despondent for days, well,
Mhm.
maybe not days, but at least a period of time. And they don't necessarily want to engage with you. So positive reinforcement really encourages the dog. Hey, if you do these things, then you're going to get good stuff, things that you like, things that you enjoy.
Well, that sounds like a better way to train, I think, because from what we've observed over the years, dogs are actually always trying to do the right thing.
They want to
And-
please you.
Yes, they do.
right.
Yeah.
And you should want to develop a relationship based on trust and love and, happiness and joy, and not, oh my goodness, fear and
What's going to happen if I don't do what you say?
right.
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 So the concept of someone whispering to your dog and throwing them down on the ground, or doing swift kicks off a camera into their midsection, those aren't really good style training. And unfortunately, that kind of set the industry back 50 years or so, that we still have we now have trainers again that say you should throw your dog down and alpha roll them.
Yes. Those are problematic because, first of all, more often than not, we are not communicating to the dog what we think we're communicating to them. They are getting a very different message. So, for example, if I have a reactive dog and I give them a harsh correction every time they react when they see another dog, because maybe they're afraid of it, maybe they're overexcited to greet it, whatever. They are not necessarily understanding that correction is because they are overreacting. Frequently what happens is they understand, oh my gosh, a dog is now in my sight and I get hurt. And so now the dog in
So now
sight
they're being
is a
more
problem.
fearful for the
Yes.
next dog because you've just overcorrected them.
Yes. And
Or you've corrected them with kind of an act of what they might interpret as violence.
yes.
The unpredictability.
Yes, the unpredictability. And so then the vision of, or the sight of a dog then becomes something that's going to cause more reactivity and not less. Also, they can not really understand what it is that they should do instead. That doesn't tell them what to do instead. You think you are telling them to stop, but that's not helpful from their perspective.
I've had scenarios running through my mind after this comment you made, multiple different ways of how exactly would I show my dog how to greet another dog without being, too overexcited about it. What I have to do, I would have to demonstrate, right? I'd have to get on my hands and knees and go around the backside of the dog.
Maybe you could, but you don't have to.
Okay, good.
What I would be doing is we approach the dog if you remain calm. If you start barking, then we back up. Okay. Oh, okay. Now you're calm again. Now we're going to step forward. Okay. Because your dog is excited and enthusiastic about greeting dogs. This is the way that I would suggest that you do it. Now, if your dog were afraid of other dogs, this would not be the method that you would want to use to approach another dog. Okay. But in your case, Willa, she needs to learn to do this more calmly. And so she gets what she wants, AKA moving closer to the person or the dog that she wants to meet when she calms down or when she is quiet.
Right.
And, I like to use a little bit of an indicator. Technically, it's I use it. It's a non-reward marker. So a little oops or an as we back up. Oops, just to kind of give them a little bit of nope, that's not what we want. Let's try doing something else. Okay, but
so
it's
you want to try to
no.
use the same word every time or the same sound every time. So again, consistency is important.
Yes.
I know dogs, especially cats, understand a whole lot more words than we give them credit for. But still, if we're trying to teach them something, consistency is far more important.
At least to start off with, you can start adding, like my dog understands oops, nope, and are all the same thing. But I didn't start off using all three of them interchangeably. I picked one and then I started sprinkling in the second one once they understood the first and then the third, right? It's like, how many nicknames does your dog have? They respond to all of them, right? Right. But you didn't start off using all of them.
Evolves or devolves over time.
Exactly.
Pretty soon they have like 5 or 10 different names.
Yeah. My dog has 2 names. She has Willa and she has no, bad dog. It's bad. Well, we're going to go to another break. This is Duke City Dog Talk here on 96.3 News Radio KKOB, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Luxurious cage-free accommodations and more than 3,000 square feet of outdoor recreational areas to keep your best friend active, safe, and happy all day. Canine Resorts on the I-25 frontage road just north of Montgomery. Call to schedule a tour and evaluation at 600-3009. Canine 5-star experience. Love and fun included.
Many of the major auto manufacturers have certified car crafters for collision repair on their vehicles.
You mean like Ford, GM, Mercedes, all those?
That's right. Car crafters hold certifications for almost every vehicle make.
And that's important.
Very. It means you are getting the right parts, quality workmanship and calibrations, and most importantly, a safe repair.
Well, I want who the manufacturers trust. Car Crafters it is.
Car Crafters! It's like it never happened!
Visit carcrafters.com for a full list of certifications.
Ford Motor Company announced special incentives now through Labor Day at Ridge Ford. 0% financing on select new Fords, no down payment, and no payments for 90 days. We have more, you save more.
Save thousands on the 2025 Ford Escape for $24,995, or at least for $399 a month. The 2025 Ford Ranger for $31,995 with 3.9% financing for 72 months. The 2025 Explorer for $37,995 or $499 a month. Take your pick from our F-Series trucks on sale for only $64 over invoice. Ready for electric? Lease the Mustang Mach-E for only $319 a month and receive complimentary in-home charging installation. For more details, call 800-917-6013.
Plus, instant financing, instant delivery, and a hotline to Banks and Ford Motor Credit will make financing easy. It's the Labor Day sales event at Ridge Ford at the corner of Lomas and Wyoming Northeast, Ridge Ford and Edgewood, rich-ford.com, and we're open Labor Day. Which Ford? Ridge Ford.
Good afternoon. I'm with Daniel's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Oh, thank goodness. Come in.
They told me you need your drain snake.
Oh, well, actually, there's a snake in the drain.
Oh, boy.
The plumbing pros at Daniel's have seen it all. Daniel's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, drain cleaning, hydrojetting, and more. Plus, commercial kitchen and building annual maintenance packages. DanielsHVACNM.com.
On it right today. Get it done the Daniel's way. Daniel's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Everyone knows the legend of D.B. Cooper, but what if I told you there's an even better story out there? One with multiple aircraft hijackings, prison escapes, and so many twists and turns. I'm talking about the hit podcast, American Skyjacker, which is now an action-packed documentary coming to theaters and streaming this fall. Find out more at www.americanskyjacker.com and listen to our bonus episode of the podcast coming soon. American Skyjacker. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
New Mexico True since 1922. This is New Mexico's #1 radio station. 96.3 News Radio, KKOB.
Wow, that was fast. We're back already. Can you believe it?
Wow.
This is Duke City Dog Talk here on 96.3 KKOB News Radio. I'm Jeff. I'm here with Lisa. I'm here with Stephanie. Stephanie, I trained my dog last week when I taught her to sit, but why is this taking so long?
You're
to
done
teach
with
her
all the
how
training.
to to have her interact with other dogs better.
Yeah, just like with humans, learning happens throughout your lifetime.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many people listening took a foreign language when they were in high school. But I did, and I was quite fluent in Spanish because I had people around me who were speaking it regularly. And then I moved to some place where that was not happening anymore, and I have lost all of my Spanish. So dog training is very much like that. You don't just take your dog to the puppy class and teach them how to sit and expect them to be able to sit in 10 years or 5 years when you're not practicing it. You really need to be making sure that you are practicing the things that you want your dog to retain. And it is something that you want to do regularly. Practicing and training is also enriching for most dogs because, as Lisa mentioned earlier, they love to make us happy. And so if
They like
can
having
please
jobs.
us and they have a job, yes, then that's going to be enriching for them. So even just 2-3 minutes of training a day just to kind of keep those skills in play can be very beneficial. So don't just take your dog to the group puppy class or the adolescent class or, any class.
And then be done with it.
And be done with it. Yeah.
I think really what a good trainer does is helps you teach the dog's guardian and the dog to speak the same language, because quite often they're clearly not.
Yes.
And, they think we're saying something, we think they're saying something, and many times we're wrong. And that is a big factor in behavioral problems. What do you think are the biggest mistakes that the dog parents make?
Well, like you said, I think that one of the biggest ones is not learning your dog's body language. So many times I get approached by people saying their dog is stubborn. And more often than that, that is a poor communication. The dog doesn't really understand what you're asking, or you're asking them to do something in a situation that they are so uncomfortable that they can't do it. And because you are not able to read their body language to tell that they are stressed, then you think your dog is being stubborn. The thinking your dog is trained once you've taken them to training class. This is another big one. Waiting too long to get help, because especially when you think your dog is going to grow out of it. The more, I mentioned this before, the more your dog repeats an undesirable behavior, the more likely it will become a habit. And then you are looking at some behavior change and some time to change that. So if your dog does something 2 or 3 times that you do not like them to do, reach out to a trainer and find out what you need to do in order to stop that. And if you do it early enough, you don't need me.
And maybe it's a quick consult, or maybe it's a 15-minute walkthrough to see how things work, or maybe it's maybe you've got some difficult issues that it takes a multiple visits from a trainer to solve a problem.
Yes. And, again, if you reach out and you find someone that can help you in the early stages, it's really just about shifting the way your dog is developing, as opposed to undoing. I see people whose dogs have been doing behaviors that they don't like for years. And I wish I had a magic wand and I could just go ding and, there, your dog is fixed. But unfortunately, it takes time. So
like with people and their bad habits, you don't change. You just don't wake up one morning and say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to do this. It takes time, at least 3 weeks to start to get a habit developed. But it can be very difficult to.
And habit replacement too is important too.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if your dog digs inappropriately, replacing the inappropriate digging with a good location for digging, that's a habit replacement.
Yes, it is. Yes. So, and that takes time. So I'm very specialized. I don't do basic manners. I don't do general training. I'm your big problem solver. I have a lovely list of people that I can refer you to if what you need is basic stuff. But ideally what I would like to see is for you not to need me.
Right. So the more that people can learn the basics about how to better interact with their dog, and how to kind of head off problem behaviors, and how to work in combination positively with their dog, the better, and the less likely it is that they're going to end up having like a severe issue that they have to bring in a trainer such as yourself for.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And I would be remiss, being from the store owner of Boofy's Best for Pets, to not mention that nutrition can have an impact as well. And so let's make sure that we're all feeding good quality products to our dogs as well.
Filled with actual nutrition, quality ingredients,
no food colorings, no byproducts. And if you can avoid corn and wheat, that's even better too. And then we can help get you into good food too. And you'll be amazed at the changes that you'll see in behaviors of some dogs. But if that doesn't do the trick, people can always go to caninezen.com and look you up and read about your services and sign up for a consult.
So the first thing that they'll do is they'll sign up for a free phone call. So we talk for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then they can decide whether or not they want to go on to paid services.
So apart from your one-on-one training activities, do you have any classes or events coming up in the near future?
I do the Reactive Rover class through Animal Humane, New Mexico, and their Train Humane system. So those classes for September are full, but there'll be more coming up.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you out and about at the events and at the Reactive Rover training, and of course online on your website. Thanks everyone for joining us today. This has been Duke City Dog Talk here on 96.3 KKOB, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Well.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Fighting for New Mexicans for over 100 years. This is KKOB AM and FM Albuquerque, a Cumulus Media station.
From ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot.
Do not take this executive action lightly.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson responding to President Trump's stated plans of sending National Guard troops to his city. Just signed an executive order directing the city to pursue all legal and legislative avenues to stop the deployment.
It is unclear at this time what that will look like exactly. We may see militarized immigration enforcement. We may also see National Guard troops. We may even see active duty military and armed vehicles in our streets.
And if there are federalized troops, the order directs them not to wear masks and to use activated body cameras. Virginia Senator Mark Warner has visited Kilmar Abrego Garcia at a detention center in Virginia, where he was taken after he was released from pretrial detention in Tennessee. His attorneys are fighting his re-deportation after he was mistakenly sent to a prison in El Salvador.
In an effort to retaliate, if he doesn't plead guilty, they're threatening to send him to Uganda, where he has no ties at all. That's not the way the system works. In October, he has another hearing on due process. There should be no action taken on deportation of this individual until that due process claims are resolved.
Labor Day shoppers are being encouraged by some retailers to beat the tariff price hike. Imports with tariffs already paid will be passed on to shoppers once the existing stock runs out. Shoppers are already seeing the effects of the new tariffs on packages from overseas valued under $800.
We've already seen products from those companies soaring in price, some items going up as much as 80% on Shein and Temu, and in response, we've seen consumer shopping at those companies going down. Axios senior market reporter Madison Bills. Yesterday, a federal appeals court struck down most of the Trump tariffs, writing that instead, tariffs are a core congressional power. You're listening to ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Votes are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/offer and get 50% off today. That's webroot.com/offer to get 50% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
But what we're seeing today on the field could be a preview of the college football championships. Number 1, Texas, quarterbacked by Arch Manning, against defending champion Ohio State, and the Buckeyes are Lee Corso's pick. His last appearance on ESPN's College Game Day after 38 years of mostly accurate picks. Corso honored by Coach Nick Saban.
Your legacy is what you leave behind, and you leave behind so much for our game. As a coach, we're an innovator, and in this business, you created an entertainment level that was different than anything before you. My first game, I thought I was coming on this show as a coach, and I was going to talk about ball. Next thing I know, he's standing on a chair, you're dancing a jig. As a Notre Dame leprechaun, and I'm saying, this is about entertainment, and you did that as well as anybody, and that's going to be a great part of your legacy and why all these people are here to remember you today.
Nick Saban on Lee Corso, who just turned 90. Speaking of picking the winners, Americans are hoping they can. The Powerball drawing tonight, $1 billion. Stay out of the water at some East Coast beaches.
We're talking about nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, skin rashes, ear infections, and the like. Hardly anybody's idea of how to end their summer on Labor Day weekend.
Not at all. Environmental America's John Rutler on bacteria associated with fecal waste in the water. I'm Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Votes are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.